Hello, it's good to talk to you today. Thanks for watching what we're doing today. Today we have a very special guest. She is Julie Johansson. She's the new principal at Crestwell Middle School. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's good to meet you. I got to watch you recently on the Zoom, the forum that you did for the community. Love that. So I am thrilled to get to talk to you. And I just start right off. Tell us about you, since this is your first year here.
Sure. So I'm Julie Johansson. I'm the new principal at Crestwell Middle School. This is my 14th year as a principal, but my first year at CMS, and actually we just moved to Oregon at the end of July. So I'm new to Oregon as well, but I'm really excited to be here, and I look forward to working with the community and working with parents to make sure that their kids get what they need, especially during this time.
Okay. Now you moved here from where?
I'm from Fortuna, California,
Okay.
Which is in Northern California where the redwoods are. It's typically cold. It's not your typical California. When people think of that, they think of, oh, Northern California, San Francisco. I know where that is. Well, it's about 5 hours north of that.
Yes.
So, and I grew up there and actually moved away and went to college and came back and became a principal of the school where I attended.
Oh, wow.
So,
Wow,
yes.
that's neat. So you're not really who the Beach Boys were singing about.
No,
California Roll.
I'm not sure. This is complete bleach, let's be real, and probably spray on tan. So
Well, there you go.
I'm not that California girl.
I love it. That's good. But welcome to Crestwell.
Thank you.
I know you didn't anticipate everything we're dealing with right now, because as we speak, we look out at a smoke-filled city of Crestwell. What's going on with you with all of this stuff happening?
Crazy times, but one thing that I love about middle school is that every day is kind of crazy. Even when you're scheduled and the weather's working with you and we're all in person, middle schoolers are amazing. They're unique, they have personalities, and that's why I love this age group. So for me, although all of this is going on, I also see it as an opportunity to do something great, to do something different.
Good. Well, I think that's a marvelous attitude to have, because we have these things going on that's not good, but yet we have an opportunity to shine.
Right.
And as a school district, I've loved, with the new principals, I loved listening to your forum. I was extremely impressed by your organization and the way you could take the information and not make it seem rote, but you put it very personally. And I even thought I understood it. So,
Well, good. I'm so glad.
So it was great. Let's get right to some questions that aren't so much structure oriented, because I think most of our viewers will pick up. They know kind of what the schedule is at middle school.
Right.
But with the sixth graders coming in, I know when mine came through, that's a tough time, going from being pampered by those fifth grade teachers to thrown in with the wolves, so to speak, with the sixth grade. How are you handling that now with it having to be virtual?
Sure. So yes, it is different than what we've done in the past and typically has happened at CMS. Normally what would have happened is they would have attended an in-person orientation actually at the end of last school year, where they came over from the elementary.
Yes.
And then we would be doing some team building activities in person the first week back. So as far as what it's going to look like during this new situation where we're virtually going to school, today we're actually planning a sixth grade orientation, so people can get to that link on our school website. They can join the Zoom, and it's for parents, guardians, and kiddos, and meet the teachers and hear about the programs that will be used. Talk about grades, because they are moving from the elementary school to middle school, where things are different. And the great thing is that we have a lot of things set up to support sixth graders in that transition. We're going to be teaching them how to use Google Classroom. We're going to be providing them an organizational tool that they and their families can fill out for the week, so that families can check and make sure that kids have completed their weekly assignments via distance learning.
And so you're using Acellus.
We are.
Okay, and we've discussed that before. We did it with the high school principal, as well as with Mr. Johnson. even before that. And so that's what they're using. And then they're using Google Classroom.
Correct.
Can you, how's that going to work?
Sure.
Like in a given class?
Sure. So Google Classroom is basically where kids will attend class when it's their time to attend that period. And they'll be able to access lessons, they'll be able to access Zoom links to actually have their virtual classroom with the teacher and the rest of their classmates. They'll be able to find posted Acellus assignments or assignments using other things like STEM scopes, which are programs that are used at the middle school. So it's their hub for information where they'll visit every day.
Okay, awesome. I'm anxious to see how all of that works, and
Yeah.
I plan to pay attention myself
Great.
and learn. I know that we have COVID-19, and that's a terrible situation for all of us. And then on top of that, now we have the fires all around us. With potential evacuation notices and rumors and all of that. I noticed that we had to push back the handing out of devices. Can you give us an update on what's going
Sure.
on?
So obviously our number one is safety, always for kids and families. And so yes, the air quality has been poor. It's not going to be safe for staff and people to be outside for 3 hours distributing devices. We're hoping that it clears to a point where we can do a device distribution tomorrow.
And tomorrow's Friday.
Tomorrow is
Okay.
Friday. If that does not clear, there are talks about a Saturday short period of time with a limited amount of staff out there. But again, if it looks the way that it does right now, when you're talking about markers in 380 as far as air quality,
Yeah.
that's just not going to happen. So we also have a plan for Monday regardless. We will do some Monday. And again, if it's not safe to do so, then it will have to be pushed back or come up with a different plan.
Okay. So I guess the obvious question about that is, are there any plans to postpone school?
At this point, no.
Okay.
We are going to be very flexible. We understand that there are employees, staff members, as well as families who cannot access the internet. We understand that some of them are dealing with evacuating their homes. So, we want to make this the best experience we can. And there are going to be things that don't work seamlessly just in this situation. But with that added on, we know that. And so we'll be checking in with families so that their student is marked for the attendance purpose. And we're going to be flexible on those first assignments.
Okay, good. Well, that gets us right into the next question, which is, how are you going to do attendance this year
Sure.
for middle school?
Sure. So, according to ODE's Ready School Safe Learners document, we have to take attendance at the middle school every period. But they give you 24 hours to attend the course online. And so the easiest way for kids to get attendance credit is by logging in during their class time via Zoom, because teachers will be taking roll and providing direct instruction and help on their work. That's the easiest way.
Okay.
For students who are unable to, for whatever reason, whether that's connectivity or no parent support, parents are working, whatever issue, they can still earn attendance credit by completing an assignment in Acellus, going into Google Classroom, sending an email to their teacher. So they have time to attend their course.
Okay. But the bottom line, if I'm hearing you, is they need to communicate with the school.
Correct.
Whether it's online, by phone even. Anyway.
Yep. Anything that they can do to communicate is ideal. But their student is attempting to access the content for that subject. And we understand that families, I myself obviously am working and I have a 6th grader, and we understand that families are really stressed about, well, I can't make sure that my kid logs in at a certain time. And we get that. We hope that families will work together to try to come up with some sort of system that works, and hopefully students will log in at their designated times to attend those Zooms, but we understand that's not going to work for everyone. And so we just want to make it clear that there are other ways to access the material and to get attendance credit.
All right, good. Well, one of the ways of getting attendance credit is to sign on to Google Classroom.
Correct.
So what happens to the 6th grader, 7th grader, 8th grader? They get their device, whether it's tomorrow or Saturday or Monday, whatever, and they can't get on.
Right.
How do you handle that?
And that happens. One thing we will be going over in today's sixth grade orientation is just a reminder on how you actually log in.
Oh, that's today.
That's today. So
Okay.
we hope people will attend that. The link for that was sent to your students' school email. It's also posted on our school Facebook page and our school website.
When you say your school Facebook page, is that the district page or is that the middle school page?
It's the middle school page.
Okay, the middle
yes.
school page. Good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I hope they'll do that because we'll be downloading or uploading or some direction of loading this onto the internet immediately and
Right.
as fast as we can. So maybe they can get that.
That would be great. And the other thing is, for those who don't have a device to access that information, it's going to be recorded, the orientation videos, and so we will be posting them. So if you were waiting on a district device and aren't able to access those videos until we can give you a device,
Yes.
they'll still be posted for families to go back to.
Okay. So in a given week, for the normal, I understand there's some variations, but for the normal student at middle school, there's going to be how many classes in a week?
Sure. So most middle school students, so that's during CDL, will have a total of 6 core subjects and homeroom, so 7.
Okay, so then they in a given class, I think I heard you say, I believe that you said it's 25 to 30 minutes of instruction, and then there is continuous learning as well as synchronous learning. What's the difference in continuous and synchronous?
So our hope is that every student logs on for synchronous learning initially, which is basically the teacher facilitating the lesson.
Okay.
It's also giving an opportunity for kids to work with each other and share out and ask questions. At a point in the lesson where teachers feel like they've delivered the content, most kids are getting it, then kids will be provided the opportunity who have it and are ready to work on their own to go ahead and do that. So those students will log off and they will do the applied learning. They will be able to go and apply what they just learned to the work that they still need to complete.
And when they log off of Google Classroom, they log on to Acellus?
Well, it depends.
Oh, okay.
So they will log out of that Zoom lesson and still be in their Google Classroom because the Zoom link is inside of the Google Classroom. So their work will be posted in Google Classroom. It may be an Acellus link that they'll click on, which will take them there. But it may also be a Google Doc, a Google Sheet that are right there inside of the classroom.
And it'll be in Google Classroom.
Correct.
So that's where they'll be the whole time.
Yes, for the most
cool.
part, middle school students will be inside of Google Classroom.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm sure I'll think of a bunch of questions after you leave.
That happens.
But you've really helped me today to understand what the average, the normal student is going to go through. I want to thank you for being here. It's been kind of fast, but you've been wonderful, and I want to welcome you to town.
Thank you so much, and thank you to the community for being so welcoming. I encourage everyone, if you have questions, please call the middle school, contact your student's homeroom teacher. Homeroom really is going to be a time where we make connections with students.
Yeah.
We're going to be delivering social emotional curriculum during that time. We're also going to utilize it to recognize kids who are working hard and making gains. And so that's going to be a really important class for students to attend on a daily basis.
And you're bringing that up. Is homeroom something they go to at some point every day, or is that one day a week?
They go every day. It's very, very short. It's the first part of their day, and it really is a check-in. It's to set the tone for the day so we can see how kids are doing, because normally we do that at school in person.
Sure.
And so it's making sure that before we're asking kids to get on and complete assignments, that we're remembering that they're middle schoolers and remembering that a lot's going on and they need us, and so connecting with those kids during that time.
Okay, and then it's longer one day, right?
It is. So on Wednesdays, homeroom is an hour, and basically that will be used to do a few things. When we have assemblies and grade level assemblies, we'll be doing those virtually, so parents can also log on when we have those, and those will be advertised out. And then it's a time for us to do a full social emotional unit, working on empathy, working on whatever issue we see. Unfortunately, cyberbullying is an issue you see a lot in this day and age, especially with kids being online more. And so a very thorough lesson on what that looks like, who you can go to if you're feeling bad, and all those things, and how to be an advocate for yourself and for your classmates.
Wonderful. Well, again, thank you so much for being here. You have been full of information, and I appreciate it because I've had people asking me. So thanks a lot.
Well, not a problem. I'm happy to be here, and thank you so much.
Absolutely. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome back, guys. Right here at the very end of our interview, I guess, Mike, you wanted to make sure that we were actually talking about school matters. Is that so? We came to check up on us. Welcome, Mike Johnson, the superintendent of schools. Welcome.
Well, thanks, Doug. I know you missed me. And
We did.
It's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks,
It
so I need to come by and check on you.
I noticed you have something missing.
Yeah. I kind of cleaned up a little
There
bit.
you go. Cleaned up your phone. That's
School
good.
started. Yeah, we're in the
Woo.
groove now.
You in
Yeah,
school mode.
officially.
Good.
Yes.
What can you tell us?
Well, what I can tell you is that our administrators have been doing an excellent job. They have been leading the way since June.
Yes.
Our new folks that have come on board, Julie and Jenny, the two principals of the high school and middle school, respectively, they joined us last spring and actually were pulling double duty in the districts they were in and our district to transition into it and help us make some decisions to prepare for this fall. And we set a pathway in June, and we've been on that pathway to provide the highest quality program that we can for our kids online. And we know there are barriers for online instruction, but the comprehensive distance learning mode is really that. It's very comprehensive. And we have been working diligently at it to bring the best that we can from our schools to our kids and parents at home.
Yeah.
One of the barriers, I would say the most common, and I picked this up from my son, is that parents in some households, both parents work.
Yep.
They don't get home till 5:30 or so. And in single parent homes, they work as well. And kids are in daycare or they're with their brothers and sisters or aunts and uncles and such, and they're not always able to navigate the online system, the platforms, and get to the Zoom classes or what have you. And there are those parents want to be involved. They want to partner. They want to assist their kids at home. So we've come up with a strategy on how we're going to help those parents in the evening and also kids who need extra support.
Yeah.
So we're going to be bringing some teachers in for 2 hours in the evenings on Tuesdays and Thursdays to start.
Oh, wow.
To provide some tutoring and support for kids, and then also to help guide parents in navigating our online programs. So we'll start this. The timeline is the second week of school.
Okay, so around the 21st or so is when it'll start.
Yeah.
How are students and parents going to be able to sign into that? How are they going to know about it?
We're going to work out the details. I've just been trying to set up the system that we're going to use as far as getting people in place.
Ah.
So I've got to work that out and get my teachers lined up for each school level, elementary, middle, and high. And then we'll work out how we can set up the contacts. I know the principals have been setting it up with some support staff so that we can have small group instruction out of these evening support classes. But now we need to match it up with some teachers, and then we'll figure out how we're going to set up the sign-in. But I know folks need that, and we're doing the best that we can, and we think that's going to help out at home.
Well, my reaction to that is that from the beginning, from when we first started talking to each other last spring, I got the feeling that this wasn't a job for you. This is a passion for you. That this is something you want to succeed, regardless of the circumstances. You want to succeed with this. And how's the school doing as it relates to number of students? How are we holding our students? Is that? I mean, I had on just some anecdotal level, I had some parents say, "Oh, I think I'm going to do this other," and so far, every one of them have turned around and have come. And then I'm aware of a few students that were doing something else that have come into the district. Are we holding our own that way with students?
You know, we are, and I have to give that credit to the leadership of the buildings, the principals and assistant principals. They've been contacting families directly. When we get a transfer request to go out of district, the principals will contact that family before I approve the transfer. And they want to know what the barriers are, because a lot of folks don't really know how we're going to run this comprehensive distance learning plan or how our academy works.
Yeah.
But with the amount of support that we have going into our comprehensive distance learning, once a parent really hears how we're going to do this, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of some parents have considered homeschooling. That's a huge responsibility to go out and purchase or find curriculum and bring it in and then teach the student on the other end, their children. And you know, that's why we purchased Acellus.
Yes.
So that we would have the curriculum. If that was their choice and they really wanted to do that, we wanted to be able to provide them the appropriate curriculum that's going to move their kids forward and keep them on track for graduation.
Yes.
So that's the gift of Acellus, that we know that that's going to help families.
Awesome.
With the enrollment, you know, across the state, I mean, there are districts that have seen a reduction of 30% in enrollment.
Yeah.
And these are parents that are exiting to go to schools that are starting in a hybrid in-person system, homeschooling, or online charter schools.
Yeah.
In our district, we're holding at about 4%, which is extremely low.
Yes.
When you look at, I mean, just even across Lane County.
Right.
And what I've seen in the last 2 weeks is the reverse trend. Those folks who were looking to go out, now that they're finding out more about the program that we're offering, are wanting to come back in and not leave. And we welcome them. I mean, we are here for every kid in our community, and we're going to serve them to the best of our ability. But I think those personal contacts from our principals to those families who are considering that, or maybe even have decided on that, has really helped them make an informed decision.
Good.
Of which way they really need to go and what's best for their kids.
Well, the thing that's pleasing to me is that this is not your mama's Crestwell school district. There's some expectations that are wonderful and some steps moving forward. I appreciate you communicating to folks with this, but with the forums that you have been doing, I think you're communicating with our community, and I think they appreciate it. So from what I'm hearing, they don't think it's business as usual at all. They know something else is going on.
Well, you know, and I can't say enough about the leadership and the administrators at the building level. When I launched the first community forum to explain our blueprint and how we were going to provide an educational program, a comprehensive online program, and an academy, and in addition to some of the safeguards that we were taking and the reasons why. You know, the principals, before the night was over, by the next morning when we got online to debrief that whole forum, because they were in the panel with me, they did a great job that evening. I mean, I felt a lot of support from them. They already had wanted to move into having their own community forums for each school.
Yes.
And that's a lot of courage. And you know, when I observed those, when I attended them with each of them, I mean, I just admire the courage and leadership that they demonstrated. But they really know their stuff. And that's because we really worked at it.
Yeah.
And now we're training our staff up, our teachers and our classified support staff, and they're taking on the charge like champions that they are, like they did in the spring. And I mean, they're under a lot of training right now.
Yes.
And this is good stuff, this training, to really make them efficient and effective with online instruction. And these are the best practices that we could find across the country that we're bringing in with our staff. And our administrators, our building administrators are leading it, and so is Amy Aguero. And I am fully confident that this is going to be, I would say, in the midst of all this, of this pandemic, that this is going to be a welcome program
Cool.
versus the experience that parents and kids had last spring.
Wonderful. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. People that I'm aware of are looking forward to it, and I don't think it's going to be a step back. We're going to step forward.
There's only one way to go.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. It's that way.
It's
Thank
straight
you.
ahead.
Thank you for stopping by.
Thanks for your time.
All righty. See you.
Bye.
Bye.